Hearing aids are an investment, and if you want to get the most out of your investment, you need to know how to clean your hearing aids. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to keep your hearing aids clean, show you every step to maintain your hearing aids, and even give helpful troubleshooting tips if your hearing aid suddenly stops working. Hello, I'm Paul Bryant from MDHearingAid, a Midwest-based company that made hearing affordable and helped improve the quality of life for hundreds of thousands of Americans over the last decade. Before working with MDHearingAid, I owned and operated multiple hearing aid clinics, led hearing aid development teams, and personally fit many Americans with hearing aids. From my years of experience, I know that the number one issue with hearing aids is wax. If your hearing aid isn't properly cleaned, you won't be able to hear. It doesn't matter if you spend thousands of dollars on hearing aids at a hearing clinic or if you save thousands of dollars with MD Hearing. In this video, we're going to be focused on cleaning a BTE hearing aid. Cleaning your hearing aids is easy to do and can be done in the comfort of your home. I will also go over how often you should clean your hearing aids, whether you should use water or alcohol, and how often you need to replace the tips and tubing on your hearing aid. BTE stands for behind the ear because it goes, as you can probably guess, behind your ear. I'm a big fan of BTEs. Not only are they easy to use, they're easy to clean. A BTE hearing aid has two main components. The clear, flexible tubing. This allows the amplified sound to travel from the hearing aid body to your ear. The other components of a BTE hearing aid is the hard plastic hearing aid body. The hearing aid is where the sound is taken in, processed, and then amplified to help you hear. All of the electronics, the microphone, sound processor, and speakers are kept safe inside the hard plastic case. Now, it's possible your hearing aid goes behind the ear, but instead of a clear tubing, it has a long wire covered in a flexible plastic that connects to a speaker located at the tip. If that's the case, you probably have a RIC hearing aid, which stands for receiver in the canal. Like BTEs, RICs have a plastic hearing aid body where the microphone and the processors are located. But unlike BTEs, the RIC speaker, or receiver in hearing aid terminology, sits in your ear canal. Because RICs have a wire instead of clear tubing, please do not attempt to remove the receiver wire from the hearing aid, as they are most likely fixed with a pin. However, the instructions for cleaning the microphones and the hearing aid body still apply to your RIC hearing aids. If your hearing aid doesn't sit behind the ear, and instead the body of the hearing aid sits in the bowl of your ear, then you have some form of an ITE hearing aid. ITE stands for in the ear. Like RICs, all of these in the ear hearing aids do not utilize any flexible tubing, but you still need to clean the microphone and body of the hearing aid, so keep watching. Let's make sure we have everything we need to clean our hearing aids. Every hearing aid comes with a cleaning tool. There are a few different varieties out there, so what your cleaning tool looks like will depend on the hearing aid manufacturer. A common cleaning tool provided with a BTE hearing aid has a little black brush on one end and a long wire on the other. If you don't have a BTE hearing aid with a thin clear tube, your cleaning tool will not have the long wire. Instead, it will have a short loop called a wax loop. In addition to the hearing aid and the cleaning tool, you will want to have a tissue or a microfiber cloth to clean the body of the hearing instrument. Now that we have everything we need, we can start cleaning. The first step is to remove the battery. This will ensure the device is off, otherwise you might experience a loud whistle from the device when you remove the tubing. Which brings us to the next step of cleaning your BTE hearing aid. Remove the tubing from the hearing aid body. There are two main types of tubing, so you'll need to determine which type your hearing aid has: threaded style or snap-on style. The quickest way to determine which type you have is to read your user manual. If you don't have that on hand, you'll have to determine which dial you have by removing it from the hearing aid. To remove the tubing, start by rotating the tubing base counterclockwise. For the threaded style tubing, such as the MDHearingAid Air and Pro models, it should turn very easily with little to no resistance. Continue to rotate the tubing base counterclockwise like a bottle cap until the tubing and the hearing aid body separate. If your hearing aid has the snap-on style tubing, such as the MDHearingAid Volt and Core models, you may feel some resistance when you try to turn the tubing. Snap-style tubing is more like a pop-off cap on a bottle glass, rather than a threaded cap on a plastic bottle. It doesn't matter which direction you turn the tubing, but you need to rotate the tubing 90 degrees. Apply a little pressure to rotate it, and then the tubing will just slide off. The trick to removing the snap-style tubing is to hold the triangular base of the tubing with one hand and hold the hearing aid body with the other. Now that we remove the tubing, we're going to set the hearing aid body aside and focus on cleaning the tubing. Take your black cleaning tool with the cleaning wire and a tissue or microfiber cloth. Start by threading the wire through the triangular base of the tubing. Push it all the way through the tubing and out of the tip, and clean out any debris or earwax from the tubing, removing any blockages that could stop you from hearing. Once the wire pops out of the tip, make sure to wipe the end of the cleaning wire with a tissue or a microfiber cloth to remove the debris. Finally, pull the wire back out through the tubing. We want to repeat this process, running the cleaning wire through the tubing, wiping off the end of the wire, then pulling it back through a few more times to make sure the tubing is completely clear. One thing to keep in mind is that any wax, debris or blockage is going to be closest to the tip. It's important to start the wire at the base of the tubing first so that the wire pushes the earwax out of the tip. If we start at the tip, then we'll be pushing the blockage further into the tubing, which we don't want to do. We want to push the debris out as fast as possible. So remember, push the cleaning wire through the base of the tubing first, and remember to wipe off the end of the cleaning wire before pulling it back through the tubing. Now that we've removed any blockages from the tubing, we're going to clean the tip. There are a few different styles of tips that might be on your hearing aid. Round circular domes, tips that look like funnels, tips that look like mushrooms. If you have an MDHearingAid, the tip on the tubing is a comfort tip. Comfort tips gives you the affordability and flexibility of round domes, with the comfort of a custom-fit ear mold. If you look closely, comfort tips are sloped on the side so they can fit a wide variety of ear canals. They also have a slight curve to them. Did you know that your ear canal isn't straight? The slight curve on the comfort tip is designed to follow the curve of your ear canal and give you an amazing fit. To clean your comfort tip or any type of dome or tip, all you need is your cleaning tool and a microfiber cloth or tissue. Take the brush end of your cleaning tool and give the outside of the comfort tip a gentle brush to remove any earwax or debris that might be on it. Then we're going to take our tissue or microfiber cloth and simply wipe the outside of the tip. Now we can set the tubing aside and clean the body of the hearing aid. For this part, we're going to need your black cleaning tool, a microfiber cloth or tissue, and the body of the hearing aid with the tubing removed. We're going to start by just wiping down the body of the hearing aid with the microfiber cloth. The hearing aid is in contact with your skin all day. Even the skin on the back of your ear produces sweat and oils that will accumulate over time. Just a gentle wipe will remove oils and moisture. Next, we're going to clean the microphones on the hearing aid. To start, we're going to need to locate where the microphones on your particular hearing aid are. If your hearing aid has a single microphone, it is likely located close to where the hearing aid connects to the tubing. The microphone may look like a little black circle or a small hole. If your hearing aid has any additional microphones, they likely can be found on the spine of the hearing aid near the controls. If you see a small hole or a couple of holes or a small grill, these indicate the location of your additional microphones. After identifying the location of a microphone or microphones on your hearing aid, use the black cleaning tool with a brush and gently brush the microphones to remove any dust or debris. The microphone is where the hearing aid picks up sound to amplify, so any blockage of the microphone will have an impact on the sound that reaches your ear. It is absolutely essential to keep the microphones clean and free of debris. However, we don't want to damage the microphone, so don't force the brush deep into the microphone or poke the microphone with the brush. The last step is to put everything back together and get back to better hearing. To assemble your hearing aid, we're going to put the tubing back on the hearing aid body. Again, this depends on whether you have the threaded style or the snap-on style tubing. If you have the threaded style tubing, the type that rotate off the hearing aid, simply rotate the tubing base back onto the hearing aid, this time in a clockwise motion. Make sure the tubing is flush with the side of the hearing aid body and the tubing is facing forward when you're done. If you have a snap-on style tubing, all you need to do is push the tubing directly onto the base of the hearing aid. You don't need to rotate the tubing, just push the tubing and the hearing aid directly together. The tubing should just pop on the hearing aid body and you should be good to go. Make sure the tubing base is flush with the sides of the hearing aid. All that's left now is to put the battery back into the device and start enjoying the sound from your clean hearing aid. Now you might be wondering how often you should do this. I suggest cleaning your hearing aids every day, or at the very least every other day. Cleaning your hearing aids regularly is the easiest way to get the most out of your hearing and extend its life. But keep in mind, even if you clean your hearing aid every day, you are continually producing earwax, and all it takes is a little bit to completely block the sound from your hearing aid. If your hearing aid ever stops working, even if you've just cleaned it, the first thing you should do is clean the tubing again. Don't replace the battery, and definitely don't throw your hearing aid in the garbage. Simply remove the tubing and give your hearing aid a nice clean. 95% of the time, that will solve the issue. A common question you might have is, when is the best time to clean your hearing aids? At night, in the morning, or maybe in the afternoon? It doesn't really matter what time of day you clean it. The most important thing is to establish a consistent routine so your hearing aids are cleaned regularly. However, your hearing aids are in contact with the skin all day, and you don't want all that earwax and oil to be sitting on your hearing aid for hours. You should clean your hearing aid just before storing them. Some of you also might be wondering whether you should use alcohol or water to clean your hearing aids. The answer is neither. I don't suggest using any liquids to clean your hearing aids. Not alcohol, not water. Why? There is nothing worse for your hearing aids than moisture. Liquids can permanently damage your hearing aid. Even with regular cleaning, the silicone tips and tubing on your hearing aid will not last forever. Eventually the tip will lose its shape or discolor over time. The tubing will stiffen and possibly get bent out of shape, both of which could decrease the quality of sound reaching your ear. As this process happens slowly, much like hearing loss, you might not realize that the sound quality from your hearing aid is slowly getting worse. That's why even with regular cleaning, I suggest replacing your tubing and tips every 3 to 6 months. I have had countless customers who thought their hearing aids were broken, only to put a new tubing and tip on the hearing aid and have it sound like the day they bought it. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to the MDHearingAid YouTube channel right now. Just click on the subscribe button below. And if you have any other questions about cleaning your hearing aids or hearing aids in general, comment right now and I will answer them. Thank you for watching. Happy hearing.